Hey guys, Karen Wisniewski here. I just want to make a quick video. I'm actually sitting in my car, just came back from doing a video at an open house, and dawned on me, I've been wanting to do a video about poet systems for the past few weeks now, and I don't know, just really haven't been able to put something together. So here I am. Let's talk about poet systems. So what is that? It stands for Point of Entry Treatment System. All right, and so typically if you had one of these, it would most likely be due to some contamination issues in your well. All right, so it's definitely something to take a look for if you're a buyer looking to buy a home and you know that your well water is your main source of drinking water. So as we pretty much may or may not know, there's two options for drinking water. It's either city water or you're going to be hooked up to a potable well. And the poet system is definitely something, like I said, to look out for. What it does is it filters the water as it comes in through the house. There's these two big carbon filters on it, and you're going to be able to take out pretty much all of the contaminants running it through these filters, but there is a lot of upkeep that needs to be done with them. And now, depending on what sequence of ownership you are with this poet on the home, that can greatly change kind of the upkeep and cost of owning the home. So the poet system can be put on when contamination is found from an owner testing their well, which is recommended once a year, at least once every other year here in the state of New Jersey. And what happens is if you find contamination, something that doesn't belong in your well, you can apply for a poet system. Now, the group, the organization, whatever you want to call them, it's called Spill Fund, and they're the ones that you can get this poet through. You can fill out the application once it's confirmed that your well does in fact have contamination of a chemical, not bacteria. Now, bacteria is a different thing, of an actual chemical that's not supposed to be there. Okay, so in the state of New Jersey, there's this good program, Spill Fund, and they will pretty much put the poet system on and they will maintain it for you for the life of, or the ownership life of the person who put the system on. Now, if you were to go to purchase a home with the poet system, there's a really good chance that you could keep the system. However, Spill Fund, they're not going to continue to maintain it financially. So that cost gets transferred onto the new owner. All right, and it can cost anywhere between a few hundred to a few $1,000s a year, depending on how often, this carbon filter, poet system needs to be switched out. So, and that's all dependent on how contaminated the water is. So if you've got very low levels of contamination, you may not need to have those filters changed out too often. But if you do have a higher level and you're blowing through that carbon and it's just being spent, sucking up all of the contaminants, you can end up having to replace that quite frequently, maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. So just something to keep in mind, something to think about, as a new owner, somebody, if you've never thought about this before, a well can be a great thing. I know a lot of people tell me, oh my God, I love the taste of the well water. I would never go with city water. But just be aware that this is something that's out there. It can be an issue. Chances are if you have a well, you're never going to run into this, but on the very off chance you do, or if you run across a home that has this system put in, just know the questions to ask, make sure that you understand the situation that's going on the home, all the specifics to that particular home, why it's there, can it be taken off, how often the current owner is switching out those carbon tanks, are they maintaining it, or is it being maintained by somebody else? Just great questions to ask, good things to know. To go with city water, all of our water comes from the ground. It's just that if you have city water, they're maintaining it. Your township is maintaining the sampling. They're maintaining any kind of filtration systems for you. And, you do pay a little bit extra, a fee, every month. For me personally, it's like $50, $55 a month. And that's just the base fee for the water line service. But all that money goes into sampling, into any kind of, contamination, remediation, anything like that. So I don't have to think about it. I know my town is doing what they got to do, whereas if you have a potable well, You know, same things can be done to make sure you're safe. It's just on you. And just be aware of that and just be ready to take that on, you know, and I just can't reiterate enough. If you own a potable well, please sample it. You know, I know it could be a few $100s, you know, depending on where you are. You know, all local labs kind of have different prices and stuff like that, but do it. Keep your family safe, sample your well. I personally would recommend once a year, but if you can't afford to do it, I'd say at least every other year, you know, just to know that your family is safe. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Hope this helped. Didn't really see too much online about POET systems. So yeah, good luck out there, guys. Stay safe, make good choices, and I'll see you guys soon.